Hello and welcome to Kody and Korbin Have a Podcast, a show where two former roommates talk about a new
roommates.
movie every week. This week on the show, we are talking about The Shawshank Redemption. And joining us,
They send you here for life. That's exactly what they take.
I believe in two things: discipline
Help me down!
and the Bible. Here you'll receive both.
Andy came to Shawshank Prison in 1947. Why'd you do it?
I didn't, since you asked.
You gonna fit right in. I must admit, I didn't think much of Andy first time I laid eyes on him. He had a quiet way about him. A walk and a talk that just wasn't normal around here.
There are places in the world that aren't made out of stone. There's something inside that they can't touch.
What are you talking about?
Hope.
and joining us for the very first time, special guest Colton Boren. Colton, how are you doing, man?
We are doing great today, man. It's not bad. It's a little gloomy, but still surviving.
Down in Bloomington, it's always scary, right?
Oh, okay.
That is true.
Yeah.
And of
It's a great place
course,
to be.
and of course, with us as always is my co-host Kody Webb. Kody, how you doing?
Well, that was real downer intro you gave me there. But I'm doing good. Yeah. Excited to be back capping. We're coming back a little late this week. We had some scheduling issues, mostly my fault. I'll take the blame for it.
I would say you and Colton could take equal blame for that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
you know.
I didn't get back till late on Sunday after the Colts game, so that's
Yeah,
a little
that's
bit
true.
partially my fault.
I guess it's more Colton's fault. We'll just blame Colton then. That's fine with me.
All right,
Yeah,
that's
no,
fine with me, too.
I'm doing good. We're reviewing a pretty good movie today. Obviously it's our guest pick, so he came in firing, so it's good to see. Yeah, I'm excited to this episode. Let's do it, man.
So we'll get it started. Colton, tell us why did you want to talk about The Shawshank Redemption?
Well, I kind of picked it because it is my favorite movie, probably of all time, actually. So back when I was a sophomore in high school, my mom kind of showed me this movie, and she said, "I think you just really enjoy it." So I ended up watching it with her, and then at the time, I wasn't really into movies either, so didn't really have much knowledge on movies. So I was like, all right, might as well watch it, and then. Yeah, just kind of this one just stuck out to me. I love the whole plot idea of it, and how it was just well set, and at the end it just kind of all came together. So
Yeah, absolutely. One of the all-time greats. Kody, in rewatching this movie, what are some of your initial thoughts about it?
Yeah, no, I agree with Colton. I think this is one of the better movies of all time. I'd say, especially of the '90s. I think this is a quintessential '90s movie. I think it came out in '94.
Yep.
It's definitely got that slow burn, serious type of movie, which, I mean, there's a lot of those, but I think it just stands out. Obviously, first off, from the performances, but also just because it has so many themes that just anyone and everyone can relate to. Sorry, I can't talk today. It's gonna be like that all episode. Yeah, I mean, you got just the first theme of friendship with Red and Tim Robbins, who is just a great character all around in this movie. I think you got themes about justice and truth. Did he kill his wife? You kind of don't know the first time you're watching it until halfway through the movie where it's revealed. Obviously he didn't. And then obviously the big one is hope and love. Is hope a good thing? Is hope a bad thing? I think that's super relatable to a lot of people just going through their everyday lives. But yeah, other than that, initial thoughts, like I said, Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. I mean, what a duo. Their chemistry is everything in this movie. If you don't like those two, I mean, you got issues, because it's one of the best movie duos of all time, I think. And then also, yeah, what Colton said, I'm just a sucker for a happy ending. This ending just makes me smile every time, makes me feel good inside. So yeah, I bagged this movie. It's a good pick. What's your thoughts, Korbin?
Yeah, I mean, this is a bromance movie. That's what it comes down to. It's just a couple of guys who just love each other as friends, and you gotta love that.
Just guys being dudes.
Exactly, just guys being dudes. I would say that, obviously this is based on a Stephen King novella, but this is a movie that feels very much like a book. It's very expansive. it goes off on tangents and will tell little side stories about characters and go into their life. So I think it really encapsulates that feeling of like almost you're reading a book. And like you said, it's a slow burn as you get through. The other thing that I just like to mention with this movie is obviously like it's super well respected, looked back as one of the quintessential 90s movies. But when it came out, it grossed like 18 million on a $25 million production budget. So it bombed, and then finally it received like 7 Oscar nominations. So the Academy was had a pretty good idea that it was a good movie, and then it received another 10 million in the wake of those Oscar nominations, but still a commercial failure at the end of the day, and really had this second revitalization through word of mouth, through like showing up on TV and playing over and over and over. And it's really become this quintessential 90s movie. But at the time, not super well respected. And I think I'm glad that people have come around to it. Similarly to Colton, I actually didn't see this movie until I was in college. I think I saw it freshman year. Watched it with my parents though. My mom loves this movie. It's one that's like, I feel like people in that age group especially like love the Shawshank Redemption, and like Kody said, it's got amazing performances and great writing. Colton, do you have any other initial thoughts before we moved on to our next category?
I mean, just what a narration by Morgan Freeman. All-time great narrator. That's all I gotta say on that.
I think he's got the best voice in Hollywood. I think that is I think debatable, but he's definitely up there. Morgan Freeman, just smooth off the mouth, man.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. And the crazy thing is this is the first movie that Morgan Freeman ever was like a narrator for, and then it kind of like set the course of his career of always having those roles.
That's interesting. Yeah, I like that.
All right, let's move on to stupidest part.
You stupid.
They're not.
Colton, since you love this movie so much, what's the stupidest part about the Shawshank Redemption?
Man, honestly, it's kind of hard to just like narrow one part of it because there's so many great parts of this movie in my opinion. I would probably have to say when the guy that's like a height, like I forget his name, but when he's getting his like GED in like in the prison, and he's going through all this stuff and like pass and get his GED and stuff, and then like a couple like scenes later he ends up just getting shot anyway. So I just thought I kind of hated that. I mean, obviously like it had like the plot of like when he was gonna like I guess rat out people if like during his testimony. I think that's what it was, when he did that. But I don't know, I just was not a fan of that part, because I thought he was a good addition to the movie. So
yeah, no, bouncing off that was one of mine as well. It sort of just comes out of left field because
Tommy Williams is the name of the character.
Yeah, Tommy. Basically, I mean, it's not like crazy if they go back to trial with Tim Robbins, because I mean, it's not like he's gonna reveal everything to like a court of what they were doing in the prison, right? So yeah. I feel like they were just like, oh, the warden is a bad guy. We gotta have him do something real bad. Let's get the sniper out and sick this guy. Yeah, I definitely back that. What do you think about that, Korbin?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, it kind of continues pushing the plot forward, but it is definitely stupid. Poor Tommy, he's got a kid. He gets his GED and then gets sniped and stuff.
R.I.P.
Trying to change his life up, man.
For sure. Kody, what do you got? I got two. I got a couple things.
Go for it.
All right.
I want to hear yours.
I want to preface this by saying I do love the ending of this movie, but there are a couple things in the end specifically that just don't make any fucking sense. First of all, you have Andy escapes from prison. All right, that's fine. It's fantastical, but it fits well and it makes a lot of sense. But then he writes to the press and he talks about everything that was happening and he sends the books, and basically the police end up getting sent down to the prison. But it's not until the police show up at the door that the warden's like, hey, I should see what's in the safe right now. Like, I should double check, because Andy breaks out. It has to be a couple days later, or at least like a day before that. And Andy's gone and he doesn't think, hey, maybe I should look in the safe at all. And it's not until the police are at his doorstep that he's like, oh, I should check the safe and make sure all my documents are still in there, when Andy's been gone for who knows how long. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. That's kind of nitpicky, but you have to be nitpicky in this movie, I think. But yeah, I mean, the first thing after he saw like his shoes were missing, I feel like he would have ran to the safe and seen if everything was there.
Right.
So yeah, I back that. But yeah, I'll talk about one of mine as well. I feel like it's like the biggest thing in the movie that we never get to see, and I don't know if I believe it. And it's Andy carving a massive hole in the wall for 20 years, and no one hearing a thing. His axe never getting found, even though it was in his Bible. Evidently, he could have just like hidden it in the wall with the hole, but evidently he wanted to keep it in the Bible for some reason. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you're if you're building a prison, you're not gonna make rock surrounding like the cells that are that easy to carve. Because it only took him 20 years. I mean, that is a long time.
With the same rock axe or whatever.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly. And the axe didn't break. They said it was almost gonna break, which is obviously just something that they just wrote in. I feel like just to make it a little bit more whatever the word is, dramatic. There it is. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough to believe, but I really do love. I'm gonna talk about some of that for like my best scene as well, because it has great moments in it, but I just don't know if I buy that as a whole. But I mean, it's part of the movie, so.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and also the scene where he's like taking the rock and he's breaking the pipe, and he like breaks this tiny little hole, and somehow he squeezes through it. And obviously, like the fact that his prison cell was right on the end to where he could carve through, not into another person's, and there's a little bit of you have to give it a little bit on that.
100%.
The only other thing I had is just Red's final parole hearing that he gets out on, when he's just like, I don't care, you don't have to let me out. And then they're like, oh yeah, sure, let's just let him out. Like,
yeah, I do agree with that one as well.
For years he's like begging and saying that he's learned his lesson, and it doesn't take that to get him out. It takes him saying he doesn't care about it anymore to be let out. Kind of strange.
Yeah, no, I definitely disagree with that, but I'll talk about that a little bit. But interesting thought.
Okay. Did you have anything else, Kody?
No, I had Colton's and I had mine.
Okay,
that's
cool.
Right there. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to favorite scene.
She is very gorgeous to me.
Oh yeah, bounce to me first here. All right, so I gotta defend my boy Red here. I mean, I do have a lot of other scenes I want to talk about as well, because I mean, this is a great movie. But I think that last parole scene is definitely one of my favorites in the movie. I mean, he's just telling him off. He's saying, I know you're not gonna let me out, so fuck off and get me the hell out of here. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. I think it's just Red being in that place where he doesn't care if he leaves, and that's exactly what they're looking for. That was what they were looking for in Brooks as well. It's the idea of the entire prison system where if they think they want to go out in the real world, you have to stay in. But if you think you need to stay in, you have to go out. And that's the entire, I think, theme of the prison throughout the movie. Yeah, Morgan Freeman just telling some dudes to fuck off, and then they stamp him. They stamp him approved. Just gold. I love that scene a lot. But yeah, I'm sure you guys have lots of picks. I want to hear about your favorite. Colton, tell me about one of your favorite scenes.
Actually, one of my favorite scenes is like, basically you're going through, I guess, like probably about like the 1/3 of the movie where Andy is just getting beat up by, I guess, the sister brothers or whatever they're called. And I don't know. I just really liked when Boggs, basically the guy that's like the ginger or whatever, basically just got his lesson, like in a sense. Got beat up by the warden's like top guy. I just thought it was like a really well put scene together, because obviously, like, you're messing with my boy Andy, so yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes. I just thought it was well put together.
You like the scene where the dude got the crap beat out of him?
Oh, I did actually. I did. Yeah. I mean, there was also another scene that I liked when it's actually in the beginning as well, when his name's William Sadler. I think his name is Hayward in the movie actually, but he's the blonde guy. And when they're getting like all those new people like initiated, like when Andy's like getting into the pen, but He's like calling him badass. He's like, what up, badass? Like, like shit like that. So in that sense, and then like he basically gets beat up by the the warden's top guy again, but ends up fucking dying because he's sitting there all night because the I just thought that fun. That scene was just funny, in my opinion.
Wow.
Colton's a cynic, dude.
That is that's dark stuff. That's some real dark stuff. Favorite scenes are when people get beat half to death or literally to death.
I mean, dude, I guess he just kind of had it coming to him, man. He had a chance to shut up, but he never did. So.
On a more positive note, my favorite scene is when Brooks commits suicide.
Jesus,
we're really getting.
What is wrong with you guys, dude?
Obviously that's a very tough scene to watch, but I think it is like the most powerful in the entire movie. Just the whole sequence of honestly like him realizing he's getting out and he holds the knife to Haywood's neck, and then finally he gets let out, and you have that little bit where he narrates and he talks about working at the grocery store and the whole build up there, and he says goodbye to the bird and he carves his name and then eventually commits suicide. Every time that scene always just stands out to me as it's really different from the rest of the movie because it kind of takes, like I said, goes on a tangential path and moves away from the two main characters. But it just like shows that what you were talking about, Kody, about being institutionalized and about how people at some point realize like this is their home and this is what they want. And that's the main theme of institutionalization is the main theme of the movie. So I think that's a really powerful one. Yeah.
No,
I think it definitely.
Oh, go ahead.
I think it definitely leaves like a lasting impact on you in the movie because it happens at the end. That's when you reach your high when Andy finally gets released or escapes, and then when Red finally gets released as well. So it definitely leaves an impact. And I thought like they kind of build up to when Red. It's kind of sad too when Red actually moves into the same apartment or whatever place that Brooks was in, and you see up above it says Brooks was here. So I definitely agree. Very good scene.
Yeah, just to back up what both of you guys are saying, that is one of my favorite scenes as well. I that's just great direction, I think, honestly. It's like you're saying, it's basically just like another chapter like out of the book. I would say it's Brooks getting out. And the scene where he's talking to those birds and he's talking about his old bird. I don't know why, but that always gets me. It just makes me really sad that he didn't get to stay with his bird. But yeah, all good stuff. I'm gonna go on a more positive note here and talk about one of my favorite scenes, which is the one where they're all drinking beer on the roof.
That was my number two.
Okay, yeah, this is a pretty serious movie, I would say, altogether, and I think this is like the most just lighthearted, fun scene out of everything. Andy, went out on a limb, almost got thrown off the roof just to get his boys, a couple brewskis, and he's just sitting on the side. He's not even drinking. He's just smiling, watching the boys have a good time. I think that's just character-wise for Andy, one of the best scenes in the movie. And then just the cast as well. The guard just like having fun with him too. Just definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's also kind of a turning point in going from like a movie filled with nothing but despair and to have a positive moment that can kind of carry throughout the end.
I was going to kind of agree with you on that. You just kind of get lost in the sight of like how brutal and how unforgivable like these like guards are. Like they're like you're getting like beat to death by these guards, and then they finally it takes Andy to do his taxes and shit like that. But it just you see like, oh, there is another side to that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
All right, let's move on to who can act.
Wow.
I'll get it started here. This one's tough. I mean, it's easy because there's obviously two right at the top, Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman, that are just phenomenal in this movie. I'm sure you guys will talk a little bit about them. I think it's almost a cop-out if you just name them. Because...
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't really... I don't feel like you can name those two guys.
Right.
Because obviously, they're already great actors.
Exactly. So I'm going to go with similar to my favorite scene, I'm going to go with the actor who plays Brooks, which is James Whitmore. Like I just talked about, I think his narration is really powerful. When they're talking about that letter, also the scene where he puts the knife on Haywood's neck is just really great acting there. He's an older dude, and I think he's my favorite actor in the movie outside of the main two. Colton, who do you think can act in this movie?
I'm actually going to go with the Warden Norton. His actual name is Bob Gunton. Yeah, I think he plays like a serious role in this movie as well. He starts off, in the beginning of the scenes, saying like, this is why you're here. I believe in two things, discipline and the Bible. I thought that like seems just kind of serious. It kind of sets the tone for the beginning of the movie. And then you see this other side of him because, he's getting, because of Andy, but he's getting his taxes done and like, he's being more lenient towards, just giving, like freedom in a sense, to, Andy and like the rest of his guys. So, I thought, and then at the end, I just thought it was, kind of, insane. It takes a lot of guts to pull the trigger right in your own head. So but yeah, I thought he did a very good job acting as just a supporting cast kind of guy.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree with that. I just want to hear Colton break down every death scene in this movie. Funny enough, yeah, the Warden was one of my picks as well. Bob Gunton. He's got a great voice too. He probably could have narrated a bunch more. I like his voice a lot. And he was in an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, so he's got that going for him. Yeah, just bouncing off what Colton was saying. I think the beginning and in the end as well, he's just got a good intimidation factor, which I think is kind of hard to find in a lot of actors. Yeah, I did also want to talk about the best actor in this movie, which is Morgan Freeman, just for a little bit. Obviously, it's a cop-out. He's the main guy. But, I mean, I think this is his best performance that I've ever seen in his career. He's pretty good in, Bruce Almighty and all that. Yeah, no, I'm just joking. Yeah, I think this is Oscar-worthy from him. Obviously, we talked about it already, but his voice as the narrator, it really just makes it his movie, I think. And if he's not good, this movie's probably not very good. So, yeah, I got Morgan Freeman. My last pick, I did want to touch on for a second, is it's the crow that is Brooks's best friend. That's a well-trained crow, I'll tell you what. He's squawking on command. He's flying all around. That's an impressive performance, and I think should have been recognized. Should have been recognized at the Oscars. Yeah, robbery for the crow.
Wow, that's powerful stuff. I was really, I was struggling with this next category, and I was thinking of just making the crow my pick as a joke, but
you should have.
Kody, tell us who can't act.
Making me go first. I got a controversial pick here, boys. I don't like Tim Robbins in this movie much.
Ooh.
I think he was nominated for an Oscar. Did
Nope.
he win? He was not. Well,
he was not nominated.
It was deserved that he wasn't nominated because I backed that. I just don't like his acting style in this movie. I don't know why. He's got a stupid look on his face. He's always his lines are like he doesn't know how to speak English and he's just trying to spit out something that makes sense. I don't know. Tim Robbins, I haven't seen him in a ton of movies other than this, honestly. He hasn't worked a ton the last 10, 15 years, which is probably why. But I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of him in this movie. Yeah, what do you guys think about that?
Kind of a bold, what you said at the beginning. Yeah, it's kind of a bold opinion, honestly.
It is a bold
I mean,
pick.
I thought he was pretty well in this movie. But I can definitely see your points as well. I don't know, if we, a little bit later in the segment, I was actually gonna replace him with someone else that I think probably could have played it pretty well. But
okay,
same.
Yeah, but yeah,
we're coming for him. Watch out, boy.
But
Kody,
who I said? Oh, go ahead. Sorry,
Kody, have you seen Tim Robbins in anything else, like any other movies?
I'm surely I have, but I didn't look at his IMDb.
He hasn't really done a lot of note outside of this movie, which might be telling of his actual acting skills. His performance in this is it's very reserved and weird. And you when you talk about like him not knowing how to speak English, almost like there is something unhuman about his performance a little bit. It's like this dude's a weirdo. There's a lot of points where there's just no emotion and it's just like he's a robot almost. He's in Mystic River where he does something very similar where he like plays this like drunk that like doesn't seem like a real person. He's in Bull Durham, the Howard the Duck movie.
I've seen Bull Durham. That's where I've seen him at. He's the pitcher.
Yeah. I mean,
Bull Durham. Yeah.
He's in a few other things, but they're not a lot of great performances. I think he plays this role really, really well. I don't know if it's necessarily a great acting performance or just him kind of just being himself. Colton, who do you think can act?
I'm actually gonna go with Hayward. Actually, I think William Sadler. Going back to the scene where they're on the rooftop or whatever. I thought it was funny the way he walks up with he grabs a beer and then he goes and walks up to Andy. It was just weird how he. This is like my only like nitpick of it, like of him, but I just thought it was weird how he just like, hey, yo, Andy, you want a beer? I just thought it was weird. I thought it was kind of funny. It's kind of like, is that really? I don't know. But that was just like the only problem I had. I thought it was, the cast was well put together. So, that's the only like major nitpick that I had for recasting of like who can't act or anything like that.
I agree. Yeah. I think you're right on the money.
Oh, God.
That is also my pick as well. So
he was my second pick. Yeah. I just thought he was a little over top, a little cheesy, but it's hard to pick in this movie, I feel like.
Yeah.
It definitely is. I think his line delivery is just at certain points, like Colton said, are just like, what are you doing? It just doesn't fit the rest of the movie. Obviously he's kind of like playing this like dumb good old boy character, but I just think they could have gotten a little bit better. Other than that, I think the cast is pretty phenomenal. We're going to take a quick commercial break and then we'll be right back with the recast. And we're back. Now we're going to start with the recast.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Kody, who are you recasting in this movie?
Yeah, I was talking crap about Tim Robbins a little while ago, so I'm going after him. I'm going after the big boy. I want somebody who's also, at the top of their game in the 90s. That's going to be my theme for the recast here. And you know what? He had one great movie in 1994. Let's have another. Let's let him have another one. I'm going Tom Hanks, the good old boy. I mean, who was better in the 90s other than Tom Hanks? Obviously, he had Forrest Gump in the same year, which, he took home a couple Oscars for. But I think this would be a better character for him, honestly. It's a lot more fleshed out, or at least it would be with Tom Hanks, I would say. A lot more, focused on some bigger themes than, just simple-minded Forrest Gump. But, who's a better actor in the 90s than Tom Hanks? I can't name anybody, so that's my first pick.
Very nice, very nice. I actually had a list of actors that were considered for the role, and
oh, really?
Tom Hanks was one of them.
Wow.
Other actors, I'm throwing them out there. Get your thoughts. Maybe you can pick Jeff Bridges, Kevin Costner, Tom Cruise, Matthew Broderick, Nicolas Cage, Johnny Depp, and Charlie Sheen. Any of those speak to you?
Nick Cage, Charlie Sheen, Johnny Depp. Oh man, they made a good choice, I guess, going with Tim Robbins because they had a lot of stinkers lined up. But I don't know. I would have liked to see the Nick Cage one, obviously just for a joke, but I don't know about the rest of them. Yeesh.
You don't think Costner could do it?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like he was a better actor later on in his career. I feel like in the 90s he's still kind of terrible, but not bad. Field of Dreams. Couldn't pull it off.
I wonder if that begs the question if since you were talking about how it only got 18 million like gross income like of the first like initial release week or whatever, if they put Tom Hanks in,
it's a good
how
point.
How much more they would have got, because you, like Webb said, Forrest Gump came out during that year as well. I mean, obviously that's one of the all-time classic movies as well. So
yeah, that's a good point.
It would be interesting to see if that maybe that. I mean, looking at it, like it's all right, but like you know, maybe like see how more popular it would have been back then and to now as well. So
I mean, you're definitely right. Like the power of the movie star was even more prevalent in the 90s. I would say that probably the reason Tom Hanks isn't in this role is because he was doing Forrest Gump, and realistically probably couldn't do both of them and being released in the same year, which probably just took that role over this one, which it got him an Oscar, so, and a Best Picture, and basically every other Oscar win that year. So
yeah,
can't complain on that one.
My pick though is I do want to see Tom Hanks as well in this role. But I want to see if this is gonna happen. We need the Tim Robbins playing Forrest Gump as the secondary choice.
I like that.
Colton, who's your recast?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of was going back and forth. I wasn't really sure if I mean, I don't know. I'm a big I do like Denzel Washington, so seeing him replaced with Morgan Freeman maybe could have been, you know, decent. I don't think it would have been as good, obviously, but because you definitely need the narration of just Morgan Freeman. Like, you just need it. But I do like Denzel Washington, but also I think another good replacement option for Andy Dufresne would have been Clint Eastwood. I think I do like Clint Eastwood as well. I think he was really good in Gran Turismo, and then just like I think that movie Escape from Alcatraz. So I don't know if he directed it. I think he did. He direct it, or was he the actor?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. But anyway,
Clint Eastwood has directed so many movies. Yeah, it's
what
quite
about
possible.
How many threesomes would be in this movie?
Well, there's a couple threesomes in this movie. If we want to be, there's a couple foursomes in this movie. If we're being entirely honest.
All right, moving on. Korbin, what's your second recast?
Were you done, Colton? Did you have any?
Oh yeah, sorry. I got you.
No, definitely. Like, go for it.
Since Korbin stole my first recast, yeah, I want to hear a second.
I don't think I'm stealing your second one. All right, so I'm gonna recast the character of Boggs. Speaking of the foursomes, Boggs is the leader of the sisters, and he has a very interesting energy about him. He's a very creepy character, and he reminds me a lot of the Joker. And for that reason, I'm going to put Jared Leto in the role, but not Jared Leto. I want Jared Leto now as the Joker without the makeup in the role. There's a lot of sexual energy there, and I think it would fit well. And then I also just want John Carroll Lynch. I don't know if you're familiar. He plays basically the Zodiac killer in Zodiac. I want him to be one of the henchmen along the way, because he can play pretty creepy as well.
Okay. Is that the guy in Watchmen, or am I thinking of somebody else? Who's John Carroll Lynch? I'll have to look him up. Rorschach? Is that the guy who plays Rorschach? His name's John something. He has 3 names. Must not be him. But yeah, Jared Leto. I mean, I kind of back it. It does kind of fit. But I kind of just don't want to see Jared Leto be the Joker again, even without the makeup. But yeah, moving on to my last pick, which I think is just a great pick. Oh, you're sharing Oh, that guy. Yeah. Yeah, right. That's a good crew member. I back that. He was in a bunch of movies. But yeah. Anyways, my last pick. I'm replacing Tommy, the guy Colton was talking about earlier, where his favorite scene where he got sniped. I think he's a good actor, honestly, but I just want a star performer here. And you know who else peaked in the 90s, Korbin? Adam the Sandman Sandler. Screw waiting around until 2020 to go for an Oscar. The Sandman's getting the best supporting actor nod here. He's obviously bringing a little bit more comedy here, but we know he got chops. So yeah, throw him in for Tommy. He'll bring along the comedic presence that you need for that character, and he'll crush it, because it's Sandler in the 90s, and there's nothing better than that. So,
I could actually see him in that role. I think it would work.
I'm proud of that pick. I've cast, I think, Sandler in the past with my recast as a joke, but I think he would actually be good in this movie. But yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on to Welcome to the Academy.
There's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
Colton, what award, fictional or real, are you gonna give this movie?
I would actually give it the Oscar for Best Director. I thought that, I think, yeah, Frank Darabont or whatever his name is. I thought he did a good job with putting the cast together, and then just putting it all together. Honestly, with just how the story ended up being, I just thought it was well put. Even some of the shots as well. Some of the camera movements, it's just like it just just a cinematic like masterpiece in my opinion. So
yeah.
All right, my award.
Was he nominated?
He was not. He was not nominated.
Oh.
Really? Wow, that is insane.
Well, I mean, dude. I mean, at the time, we just state like we've said it already a couple of times. Only brought out 18 million in that year. So
that's true.
It's not like it was very popular, and obviously, like it wasn't going to be popular for the Oscars. So maybe that's why he wasn't nominated.
Maybe. Korbin, let's hear yours.
Well, first of all, you mentioned it earlier, but I got to give this the award for best movie bird. Definitely one of the best birds in all the movies for sure. And then secondarily, I want to give it the award for best library propaganda. This is a very pro library movie. Libraries are out. It's 2021. We need to bring them back. Show everyone Shawshank. Maybe we can get some love for libraries again. That's my take.
Hell yeah. That is
good
true.
one, actually.
Libraries are dead. So I don't know if I back it, but good take. I got a couple. I think best actor Morgan Freeman. He might have been nominated for supporting, but
he was bad. He was actor. He was leading.
He was. Well, that's a good call. Also best picture. Somehow this lost to Forrest Gump, which is an entire different argument, but I definitely go best picture here. And then I also have an Oscar for it for the least amount of women in the cast. Can any of you name any women in this movie? I want to hear it.
I mean, Andy's wife is in it.
Yeah, that's about it, though, honestly.
There's one. There's a couple others.
There's some chick at the grocery store, probably.
Yep. That's
and then
two.
maybe the bank teller or something, maybe.
Yeah. Wow, you guys are experts. I believe those were the only three women in this movie.
I could be wrong. It might have been a guy.
No.
Were there any women in the courtroom scene?
There might have been one on the jury, actually. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. So we'll go 3.5. That's got to be up there for the least amount of women in the cast.
Give her an Oscar for best supporting character.
Yeah.
Or actor.
But yeah, that's all my Oscars.
All right. Now
we'll make a good point on that.
That is a good point. Now we'll move on to weird movie details trivia. Who wants to take it away with the first question?
I'll go first.
All
I got
right.
a fun one to start. This one's not super hard, but maybe a little bit. So yeah, we've been talking about it the entire episode.
Did you take my damn question?
It's
Jake.
Oh wow! I don't even say the question. Yeah. What's the bird's name that Brooks had? Is it Jim, Jack, or Jake? Colton, what do you think it is?
Well, I'm gonna say it's probably Jake.
Okay, Colton got it right.
Let's see.
All right, I'll take the next question.
Right.
What is the name of Brooks's bird? Is it Jake, Jack, John, or Jackie?
Oh wow, throwing in John and Jackie, real ripple. Well, since Colton already answered, I'm gonna go with Jake since he answered first.
You're right. All right, cool.
Okay.
All right, Colton, what's your question?
Oh man, I'm really. I think I had the same actual question as well. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I kind of okay. Who was the girl on the poster in Andy's cell? I didn't have like
I know the
choice
answer.
answers. But
Well, there's multiple answers, right?
The first one?
Or the last
the first,
one?
yeah, the one where the warden throws the rock through.
Oh, well,
the
that's
last
different.
There was 3 posters, I think. I don't
At
remember any of
least,
the
I mean, it was 20 years. The
Yeah,
first
that's
one's
true.
Rita Hayworth is the one that he
Yeah.
asked for.
Well, that was the one I was at. I thought that
Okay.
was the one that was.
Yeah.
I thought
I
thought
think
that
it's
was the
Marilyn
one.
Monroe though that he throws the thing through,
No,
or she's up there at some point.
Yes, no, I don't think she is actually.
Marilyn Monroe, actually.
The third one was from a movie or something, and it definitely wasn't Marilyn Monroe. I'm terrible with names, so I never would have remembered any of that. So that's actually
Rita Hayworth, Marilyn Monroe, and Raquel Welch. So I would Raquel Welch. I got 2 for 3.
It was Marilyn Monroe.
The second one was Marilyn Monroe in the middle of the movie. Thank you.
I told you were wrong.
Hey, there's some women that are in the movie.
That's true. Add those 3 to the list. All right, I got another question though.
All right,
it's a doozy. There's no multiple choice here.
Okay.
Actually, I have 2 more questions. I forgot. So I'll fly through this one a little bit. So who's the artist of the music that that one guy in the group really liked? You know who I'm talking about? The guy that Colton said was a bad actor. And there's a hint. It's the song that the Walmart country kid sings. It's that artist.
Yeah. Do you know what it is, Colton? I know what it is.
What's that kid's name?
The yodeling kid?
Yodeling kid, yeah.
I don't remember his name.
His real name. I don't remember that either.
Oh, it's
Mason Ramsey.
Yeah.
His favorite artist. So I'm gonna go with the answer is Mason Ramsey. His favorite artist is Mason Ramsey.
No.
It's Hank Williams. He wants to listen to Hank Williams.
Yeah, there you go. Nice job. You got another question, or should I fire this one off too?
I do have another one.
All right, go for it then.
I want Colton to take first crack at this. What other Stephen King adaptation did Frank Darabont also serve as the writer-director for?
No clue.
No idea.
You didn't even know who Frank Darabont was. Oh, dude.
We could think about other Stephen King adaptations. I mean,
yeah, I know the name of this movie. I can tell you the entire plot of this movie, but I couldn't tell you the title right now because my brain is fried. Should I spoil it? It's the movie where they kill each other.
Well, who's the main actor?
It's the Punisher. I don't remember his name. No, am I thinking of the wrong movie?
I think you're thinking of the wrong movie.
What's the Stephen King adaptation? Oh, The Mist. The Mist. Is it not The Mist?
That's not the movie.
Okay, well that's my guess.
It's a movie with Tom Hanks in it.
Philadelphia.
No, it's The Green Mile.
Oh, I would have never guessed that. That movie's good. It's not. I don't love it. I feel like everybody else loves that movie, but
very similar.
Good question.
They finally got Tom Hanks. Frank Darabont finally got him.
That's true. Very true. All right, I'll go with my last. I'll go with my last question here, and I want to throw it over to Korbin first. So yeah, basically, Colton had a senior quote in the high school yearbook, and it was something from this movie. And I want to hear you guess which line from the movie he quoted in the senior yearbook. And there's no options.
There's no options.
No,
this would have been a good one to have options for.
Well, I can think of a couple if you really want me to.
I'm guessing it's get busy living or get busy dying. That seems like a very
that would have been my first option because it's very bait and it's not the answer.
That seems like something Colton would say.
That's what I would have put if I was quoting this book. But Colton, you remember what your high school quote was, you loser?
I remember a little bit of it, but that was 5 years ago. So as it was like Red. I forget what it was, dude.
The gist of it, it's the hope quote. It's if there's no hope, what have we got or whatever. We don't.
Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies.
Yeah.
You don't even know the quote, Kody. You're asking the question.
It was his senior quote. I figured he knew it.
Oh, dude, that was 5 years ago, dude. I just putting something down.
Oh, what was your senior quote, Kody?
Oh, it was something stupid. It was like, it ain't easy living in the streets or something classic like that. But it definitely was.
Dude, we had that joke, whatever, that you lived in a box on the side of the street.
Yeah, and I was a hood rat. Yeah.
Oh, it was like something like it ain't easy being a hood rat or something stupid.
Yeah, baby.
Oh my god, dude, I remember
stuff.
that.
What was yours?
From you, dude? Yeah,
it was a quote from The Office. It's I'll catch you on the flippity flip.
Oh, that's lame.
Let's move on. Now that Kody is back with us permanently.
Yeah, sorry. Technical difficulties. If my mic sounds like crap, don't blame me. But yeah, let's go for it.
Probably blame him. All right, pitch time. Pitch a sequel, a remake, a reboot, anything you want. Kody, take it away.
Gladly. Yeah, I was thinking about a sequel, and my rule is, someone always has to die, but everybody in this movie's dead anyways, so there's no point in making a sequel. So I'm going a little out there, going for a TV miniseries. Don't do that a lot if you like, but I want to see everybody's story after they leave the prison. So basically, every episode would pick up where someone from the group is leaving the prison. The first one would be Brooks, so we get a little bit more detail into that. Each episode is 40 minutes or something. The next one would be Andy, see him escape. I think that'd be pretty cool. See how he got out of the country, all that. Next one would be Red, which obviously we saw a lot of, so that wouldn't be that great. But then you got some of the other guys who are in the group as well. The bad acting guy, the weird looking guy. I just want more of them. Yeah, the short little guy, he's kind of funny at the beginning. Yeah, I couldn't really think of a good idea for your sequel other than doing a buddy cop movie where they're Mexican cops or something. That's kind of interesting. I went for that. Not too shabby, I think.
All right. I'll take it away with. So I want to do, you mentioned it earlier. There's not enough women in this movie. So we need the Shawshank women reboot. They did the Ocean's 8. They did the all-female Ghostbusters. So let's get us the all-female. I know they do Orange is the New Black, but this is going to be a mix between that and Shawshank Redemption, basically. I don't have specific casting in mind or necessarily a story per se, but I think it's a money-making idea. You got to include some sort of female pop star. They had Rihanna in the Ocean's 8 movie. Maybe Ariana Grande comes to this one. She's in the new movie coming out to Netflix. Gotta have a female action star, so maybe Gal Gadot or Brie Larson or somebody like that. You gotta have a funny person. The Aquafina's in the Ocean's 8. Maybe get Rebel Wilson. I could see. just an awful movie that would probably.
Yeah, this sounds like a pretty good movie.
It would probably be bad, but I could see it. I think it'll make a couple bucks at the box office. So.
That's all that matters. It'd probably make more money than Shawshank did. So.
Probably so.
Yeah, if Ariana Grande's in it, it definitely would.
Colton, what's your pitch?
I kind of had a sequel, kind of like Webb's a little bit, but it was actually a movie, and then it was just basically, seeing how Red and Andy live out their life on the Mexican border. They just kind of leave you with, just them meeting up and Andy's working on the boat, and then it's just it's a happy ending for sure, but yeah, I'd just be kind of curious to see see if the cops maybe could still search them down, or what they do. It's just it'd just be kind of interesting to see just their life after prison as well. So yeah, that's what I kind of had for that. So
yeah, it's not a bad pitch. The thing about that is I don't know if you guys have seen the TV show Prison Break, but the first season is immaculate. It's untouchable. It's one of the best seasons of TV. The problem is after they break out of prison, it's not as interesting.
It's no longer Prison Break.
Though.
Yeah,
I kind of agree with you.
That would be my worry for that sequel. I think they could definitely do it well, but I just think it's just not as interesting, which is probably why they haven't done a sequel. But yeah,
I mean, it would be interesting for them to do it now, because I was looking at photos or just photos on Wiki. What they look like, dude. They look they have aged pretty well.
They're
pretty,
80.
or not pretty well, pretty bad actually. But yeah, it would just be interesting to see. I think it would be a good movie idea, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
You should make it.
All right.
Maybe I should direct it. Yeah.
Hey, not a bad idea.
I am in film. So.
We'll move on now to our rating.
You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong? Am I wrong? It's my favorite.
We'll let the guests drop it first. Out of 69, this is one of your favorite movies. What do you rate this?
Yeah, first off, as well, Colton asked us, why is it rated out of 69? What do you mean, why is it rated out of 69?
It's kind of obvious. It's a fake fan ask, honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, that was my fault, but for even asking that question. But it is my favorite movie. I don't want to be, so biased and rate it, 69 out of 69, but I'm gonna rate it probably a nice 65 out of 69. Not fully, put together like the best movie of all time, but definitely up there. And I think it's a good, rating for what was presented in the movie.
Absolutely.
I back that. I'll go next. Funny enough, me and Colton, similar minds think alike. I also went for 65 out of 69. I definitely agree. I'm kind of surprised you had it that low, but it is obviously one of the better movies of all time. I think. I don't know if that's like a major argument for some people. Maybe it is, but yeah, just basically what we've been saying the entire time. Phenomenal cast, phenomenal performances, just really powerful scenes like throughout the movie. We didn't even really talk about, I think, a couple of my favorite scenes as well. The hole in the wall, and then the rain falling him on at the end. I think those are both probably the most iconic. That I feel like that it just sticks with you. Like I watched this movie last night, and like during the day, I was just thinking about it like a bunch, like just like random stuff in the movie. But yeah, 65 out of 69. I think that's one of my higher scores I give. I'm actually not sure where it's at. That might be behind like Moonlight and a couple other Arrivals, definitely up there as well. But it's definitely in like top 5 ratings as well. So good pick from the guest. Yeah, you brought in a good one, and 65. We agree on it. So I like that.
Kody, that puts it even with The Departed for you.
Nice. That's a good spot for it. I think that's a very good spot for it.
Yeah.
The Departed.
And for me, I got it a 63 out of 69. A little lower than some of the other movies that we've had so far. I agree with you. I think Arrival's above it. So this is right below Arrival for me, and a little bit above The Departed. So all-time classic, 5-star movie easily.
Yeah, we all kind of agree on a rating for once. That I don't know if that's ever happened.
Yeah, fantastic film. Well, that's the end of talking about this movie, and we'll now just move on to our final segment, talking about little recommendations. What have we been into recently? Colton, you want to get it started? What have you been into?
I am a huge advocate for Apple TV Plus. I think it's one of the better streaming services out there.
Okay, hot take.
It is a hot take, I would say, but I do think that they do have some great shows on there. Obviously you got Ted Lasso. I just think that it's already been up for Emmy Awards and stuff like that. I think that's a great show. I just finished season 2 of that, and then season 3 should be coming out soon. So I'm going to watch that, obviously. The morning show was pretty good. I like that. If you're just, looking for, a production side of things and just like the backstory with it. Since, I am studying media and stuff like that, I just kind of, grew adapted to that. And then lastly, I just finished another season 2 of C. So it's SEE, and it has Jason Momoa in it, or Momoa. Sorry. But yeah, it's, Jason Momoa in it. I think he's a very good actor. Just with how the show is about, what the show is about. And it's just like a little bit. I'll just give you like a little bit, but it's like set after a post-apocalyptic world, and then like these people don't have like vision. So they can't see, and then I guess Jason Momoa has has kids with this other person that can't see, and then what do you know? They have vision, and you go you go through their life a little bit, and it's just like they fight, and like it's like war and stuff. So it's kind of like Game of Thrones in a sense, but that so.
Kody would like that show because it has Dave Bautista in it as well. So.
Oh yeah, he's in season 2.
No way. Yeah. I was gonna say that show would sound really good if Dave Bautista was there instead of Jason Momoa, but evidently
he does give the Bautista bomb to. No, I'm just kidding.
Fair enough. I think to Apple TV Plus, there's gonna be a Tom Hanks show as well coming soon. So
there is. There's
a movie just came out.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
a movie. I thought it was a show with the robot.
Yeah.
I
That
never
just
saw it.
just came out last weekend. So
Nice.
There was
All right,
also another movie that he put on there as well. I forget what it was
yeah,
called.
the plane movie. Whatever. Yeah.
I just don't remember what it was called, but
Sure.
it was all right.
It was all right, fair enough. Yeah, some good recommendations. I don't have Apple Plus, whatever. Looks like some decent shows though. I'm gonna start off with just a basic here. There's on Netflix. There's actually a couple new seasons of Survivor that they put on there that I wanted to talk about briefly. Just because they're two of the better seasons, I think. Fans versus favorites. It's a classic. I would actually strongly recommend, even if you hate Survivor or you've never seen it, I would go watch Fans versus Favorites. You can skip like the first 5 episodes, but I mean, once you get the merge, no, don't shake your head. No, legitimately, the post merge in that show is like legitimately. I said that like 3 times, but I think it's legitimately one of the best seasons of television you've got out there. So definitely check that out. I also, breaking news here. I went to the theaters and I saw a movie. Korbin, guess which one it was?
Well, it's Eternals because I saw your letterbox. So
well, you're smart, I guess. Yeah, so Eternals. I mean, it's been getting harsh reviews. I thought going into it, had low expectations, which is probably a good thing. But I'll tell you what, I actually really enjoyed this movie. I do have a lot of pressing issues with it, and maybe we could do an episode on it because I have a lot of things to say about it. But I don't understand the hate it's getting. It's not really like any other Marvel movie. Maybe that's why. And like the plot isn't anything terrible. I love the characters, or at least most of them. I pretty much like everybody except for the little kid, which I don't know why they made her like an unlikable prick.
Sprite.
Yeah. The 2 main cast, the guy from Game of Thrones, and then Gemma Chan.
Richard Madden and Gemma Chan, yeah.
Yeah, I thought they were great. They carried the movie for me. Their chemistry was, I thought, off the wall. And just sort of the idea. Oh, you don't like that. Sort of the idea that I really stuck with was, what if the person that you were like in love with had an exact opposite feeling about something to the point where you had to like go to war over it. I think that is super interesting. Maybe that wasn't explored enough, but I actually like the movie. So I think it's a 3.5 to 4-star movie. And I mean, on IMDb, on Rotten Tomatoes, it's been like 50% or something, which I think is a little harsh. But yeah, I would recommend go see it because I want to hear what a lot of other people think, honestly.
Yeah, I think the twist a little bit that happens is well executed, and I enjoyed that part of the movie. But
I love that part of the movie. Yeah.
There's definitely some issues. Obviously,
There's
just came out, so I don't want to get too much into it right now. But I also went and saw Eternals this weekend, and maybe we can have a further discussion at a later date about it. Still haven't seen Dune, I'm guessing, Kody.
I've not. Yeah, that's
you gotta get it together, man.
I know. I really want to see it too, which is sad, but I just haven't had time.
All right, we got to do it. What's your Survivor last week? What are your thoughts on the episode?
Survivor last week. Well, yeah, I mean, the week before obviously was the best episode of the season. Last week, I was a little down on it, I'm not gonna lie. Hopefully, it picks back up this week. They did. The thing was, it didn't really make sense to vote. I could talk about this for hours, by the way, but I'll keep it brief. I mean, basically, at Tribal, it's all shaken up evidently, but then it's not. But then also they split the votes between Tiffany and Xander. But why would they not put more on Xander? Because he has an idol. Why? That doesn't make any sense to me. If you're going to split votes, put more on the person who has the idol. Because now he's in the game another round. He keeps holding on to that sucker. That dude's going very, very far in this game. So, I don't know. It's just a bad strategic move for me, from my standpoint. And from an editing standpoint, it didn't really make sense on why the votes are that way. But
yeah, and the old lady,
I hate her.
I don't know what she was trying to do. She
almost voted herself out.
Yeah, she almost literally just lost herself the game because she was like, in the last second started talking to everyone. Very strange.
Dude, the
got
thing
another
is,
episode tonight.
Yeah. She's got, I think, the least amount of confessionals or least amount of screen time like throughout.
I didn't know who she was. I'd never seen her, and I'd been watching the whole season.
So they're trying to hide her. It's like evidently production does not like how she's like acting or playing out there. They're not trying to show her at all, which is funny. But yeah.
All right. What I've been into, I checked out this movie from 2019 on Netflix called Synchronic with Anthony Mackie in it, and I'd never heard of it, never seen anything about it. It was pretty interesting. Wasn't too bad. It had really trippy effects. basically about this like designer drug that gets out on the streets that causes people to start traveling through time. And really interesting idea, and I liked Anthony Mackie in it a lot, and it was a cool movie to check out. So I'd recommend that. I also saw Eternals, and hell, I spent my movie theater on Sunday. I spent like most of my day in a movie theater. So I saw Last Night in Soho and The French Dispatch. So it was a pretty good weekend for me.
Wow, trifecta.
But both of those movies were disappointments. So I would personally not recommend. If you are a Wes Anderson like lover, then definitely you will enjoy The French Dispatch. But other than that, it's kind of, I described it as him jerking himself off for 108 minutes or something like that. And then Last Night in Soho is just a strange commentary on women. So from a man's perspective, very strange. But we love movies around here. So that's all I got. Colton, thank you so much for coming and talking about Shawshank Redemption with us.
Yeah.
Really happy to have you on the podcast finally.
Appreciate you coming on, my guy.
Thanks for having me, man. It was a very fun time. So hopefully we can do this in the future again at a later date.
Absolutely.
And yeah, absolutely. The only thing I have to say is that the IU sucks, and next weekend it's going to be a sad. Well, it's kind of been sad to be an IU football fan all season.
Oh, it's terrible right now, man. It's terrible.
But especially show. So
it's going to be very sad in a couple weeks.
We're back to being a basketball school. I will say that. We'll see you January 20th. All right, guys. We'll see you January 20th.
Yeah, we'll be
at
happy.
Assembly Hall.
We'll be happy to come back home in Assembly Hall. We love it there. But yeah, appreciate you coming on, my guy. Love you.
Yeah, definitely. It's fun.
Thank you, and thank you for everyone for listening. Stay capping.
Peace.
See it.